The college football landscape, there's but one polarizing quarterback. He's incomparable. He's indomitable. He's Johnny Football. The call of the Hogs, the indigenous battle cry. Welcome, everyone, to ESPN's college football primetime tonight. It's number 10, Texas A&M, taking on the Arkansas Razorbacks, the Aggies' first trip to Razorback Stadium since 1990. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones alongside Brock Heward. Kaylee Hartung down on the sidelines. She'll be joining us in just a minute. Great atmosphere, sellout crowd, over 72,000 on hand. And Brock, Johnny Manziel, easily the most polarizing, unrelenting, indomitable player in all of college football. Despite all it's been pontificated about him, opined about him, he's produced on the field. His numbers are off the chart.
He's incredible, Mark, and we can analyze, and we'll have 3 hours to do it all game long and critique. But you know what we take for granted? The fun factor. Just keep it very simple. There is nobody in college football like him. He is such a joy to watch. He is must-see TV. And I'll tell you one other thing, he doesn't get near the credit for the runner that he is. You will see that this evening.
Add that to the fact that he's already had back-to-back games of over 400 yards passing. The question begs, how do you stop him? That's something we'll be talking about throughout the course of the game. The Aggies looking for their 10th consecutive road win when we come back on the other side. This was the scene last night, less than 24 hours before kick between Texas A&M and Arkansas. Arkansas looking to get back on track and back in the win column. Here's a look at the series history. This is the 70th meeting all time between these two teams. The Hogs have won 3 of the last 4 and 6 of the last 10. Brett Bielema in his first season as head coach, expecting and receiving some good news from the injury report, especially at the quarterbacking position. For more, downstairs to Kaylee.
Mark, a week ago, it wasn't until this Arkansas team took the field that the Razorback faithful knew who their quarterback would be. Their leader, Brandon Allen, had suffered a shoulder injury in week 3, and he did not see the field during that loss to Rutgers. But today, that will not be the case. This week, Brandon Allen participated in a modified practice on Wednesday, and you better believe he texted Brett Bielema first thing on Thursday morning to tell him he didn't feel any soreness. With that, the decision was made, and Brett Bielema did not want to make fans wait for a game-time decision this week. So last night, he took to Twitter and made the announcement that Brandon Allen would be his team starter. He said he wanted the fans and his team to enjoy the upswell that good news would create.
Yeah, not a bad idea, Kaylee, when you consider Brett Bielema, Brock, a first-year head coach, endearing himself to the local community and the local football coaches and the fan base, energizing the base. And as far as on the field goes, what kind of effect do you think it has, his return?
I think more important than the fans, and they're going to need them today, and they're going to need the noise, what that does to the locker room, what it does to the defense that knows what it's up against and knows that they're not going to pitch a shutout against Johnny Manziel, and to have their quarterback back, it energizes, I think, everybody in this building today.
Well, we'll see what Johnny Manziel does when he takes to the field, because A&M won the toss, and they have decided to receive the football. They have been very prolific in the early going of football games under head coach Kevin Sumlin, and this his second year as head coach. Ben Molina back deep along with Jaquay Williams. We're underway. That was Williams, and it'll come out to the 25-yard line. Manziel completing 70% of his passes on the season so far. And look at that statistic. They've scored on 14 of their last 17 opening drives. Conversely, Arkansas's defense has been intransigent, not giving up any points this season on opening drives.
Awfully difficult to replicate in 3 or 4 days. What you're going to see from what Brett Bielema has said is the toughest guy he's ever had to game plan for as a college football coach, and that, of course, is Johnny Football.
First and 10 from the 25. Manziel with time, taking a shot up top. Evans complete at the 25-yard line. They strike early. He worked against Tevin Mitchell. A 49-yard gain to his favorite receiver. Wow. That's what you call a good start. Off to Molina over the right side down to the 19-yard line. Let's take one more look at that long pass play.
That's why Evans is averaging 26 yards a catch. He just posts him up. He uses that big frame and body. Very talented high school basketball player, and more importantly, knows how to leverage that size and strength. And Johnny trusts him immensely. One-on-one, he's going to take his shots to him.
He's already gone over 600 yards receiving on the season. Molina in motion, empty formation. Here's Molina as a receiver, and brought down at the 15-yard line. Close to the first down, got the first down. It'll be 1st and 10. Jarrett Lake making the tackle for the Hogs. This Arkansas defense on its heels a little bit here early, Brock. Pass complete. Down to the 13-yard line. Catch made by Malcolm Kennedy. He's an emerging favorite, too, of Johnny Manziel's. 2nd down coming up. About 6 to go. Manziel already in a pretty good rhythm.
Check with me. Every single snap, he has the opportunity to do exactly this.
6 on the play clock. Hands it off. And Molina tried to cut back to his right, and it was brought down by Phylon. Picks up about 2 yards. It'll be 3rd down coming up.
And this is where the game will be won or lost tonight. 3rd downs in red zone. Arkansas, like everybody else, is going to give up yardage in big plays to A&M, limiting the damage in the red zone and getting away and finding a way to get off the field on 3rd down. The only way they win this game tonight.
Trey Carson, their big back in the backfield right now alongside Manziel. This is where Manziel scrambling can sometimes be lethal. Into the end zone. Touchdown. Evans. And they strike early again. The Aggies roll into Razorback Stadium and turn up on their opening drive of the ball game. That's his 13th touchdown pass this season, the 39th of his career.
You know what's coming, and you can't stop it. That's humiliating.
Lambeau in for the extra point. They had issues kicking extra points last week. This one up and good. And Texas A&M, Evans and Manziel. Sounds like a law firm. Bringing law and order to the gridiron on this play. Just throw it up. Back after this. Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Primetime. It's the SEC on ESPN. Number 10, Texas A&M, striking first and leading Arkansas 7-0. Johnny Manziel, 4 of 4 on that opening drive. Evans with his 4th touchdown catch of the season, the 9th of his career. We'll see if and how the Razorbacks bounce back. Right now on their heels a little bit. Taylor Birdwell kicking off. From the goal line, Marshall, and a nice return out to the 37-yard line as we go back to Wendy in the studio.
Mark, thank you very much. For those of you who expected a back-and-forth game with LSU and Georgia, you're right on the money. We're tied. It's 37-34 here when Jeremy Hill carries it in, and it's the Tigers in front, 41-37. It's been back and forth all afternoon. Georgia again has an answer. Aaron Murray to Justin Scott Wesley, 44-41, Georgia Bulldogs.
All right, Wendy, back here, first down. Good starting field position from the 38-yard line. Brandon Allen seeing his first action in a couple of games at quarterback. Looking to pass on the bootleg, incomplete. Harmlessly at the 38-yard line. Good pressure up front from Alonzo Williams. Brett Bielema last night tweeted this out. He said, hey, excited for a live crowd in Razorback Stadium to start SEC play. We have a number of players back, including quarterback at Brandon Allen. And in this day and age of social media, hey, QB, could you ever tweet? That was I'm sorry, that was a different time, wasn't it? That's right.
Yeah, that's real funny, Mark.
But you would have. 2nd and 10 coming up, the handoff. This is Jonathan Williams, picks up about 3, setting up 3rd down and 7. Brock, we're going to see a lot of 3-4 yards in a cloud of dust from these guys.
The beauty of college football, in my humble opinion, is what a clash of styles. You don't see this at the professional level. Look at your eye and what your eye sees all evening long. Texas A&M using 53 yards across, spreading it, playing up tempo, and Arkansas with fullbacks and tight ends trying to play this game in a phone booth, and they have to establish that physical level of play at the line of scrimmage.
Brett Bielema bringing that style from Wisconsin in the Big Ten. His previous stop. Downfield, wide open and complete at the 32-yard line to Javante Herndon. First down on the 27-yard pickup.
This is the X factor that Brandon Allen can bring you that A.J. Derby a week ago could not against Rutgers. You buy a little time. He's never, ever going to be a scrambling, running quarterback, but extending the play. Zone coverage from A&M. They get lost. This defense has had trouble in 3rd down situations this season, and Allen's able to exploit it.
That's one of the prevailing storylines in this game is that Texas A&M defense. And a bunch of changes. Jonathan Williams in the backfield. Handoff to Williams between the tackles. Inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. They've made some changes on that Arkansas offensive line too, Brock, at the guard spots. What effect do you think that might make?
Just look at the size of these men in the huddle. Denver Kirkland, 55, is a true freshman. He moves into the right guard spot. I have never put 6'10" on my board. That's true freshman Dan Skipper. 2 true freshmen playing the guard spots. Brett Bielema feeling like their strength, their athleticism was a bonus going into this matchup. And remember what Alabama did and the struggles they've had against everybody else running the ball. They got after A&M. Arkansas feels like they can do the same.
Collins motions out to the bottom of your screen. One-on-one coverage up top. Pass incomplete, intended again for Herndon, but well defended that time by Tremaine Jacobs.
And I love that call, Mark, because you're going to need this tonight, and that's a play that Herndon must make. Allen puts it on the money. You can't throw it any better. Right over the outside shoulder, 2nd and short. Everybody's expecting run. Got a one-on-one outside. You must capitalize.
3rd down and 3 coming up. Collins the backfield. Herndon in motion. The fly sweep, and this is going to, it looked like it got stopped up short. Herndon still fighting, and he's going to come up about a yard short. It'll be 4th and 1. This part of the game, do you risk going for it?
Well, what this is a statement right here. And the statement was, we know what Johnny Manziel wants to do. We feel like we've got a good plan, and you know what? We can't stop it. And we cannot settle for field goals this evening. And then on top of that, you're built to run. You're built for these situations. I like this call.
They're 3 of 4 on 4th down so far this year. Their hammer guy is Kiero Small. Patrick Aaron's also in the ball game. Small is the deep back in the offset eye. They're trying to hammer it straight ahead, and we got a flag down in the field, so hold on.
That's going to be a false start. That's too jumpy on the offensive line for Arkansas. That's a critical error.
There were some changes on that offensive line. We talked about it a second ago. Olison moving over to tackle. Oh, that's going to go against Texas A&M.
This is the right call. This is right in the middle of the screen here. Kirby Ennis, the redshirt senior, and that little movement there, and you saw Kevin Sumlin's quick reaction. He's saying horizontally and laterally. The line judge felt differently, and that helps in a situation like that to move the chains.
Gives Arkansas first down at the Aggie 16-yard line on this their opening drive. Alex Collins, a talented true freshman out of South Plantation High School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in the backfield. Collins into the boundary, found the lane and tripped up just inside the 10-yard line at the 9. Got about 7, 2nd and 3. Collins and Williams have done a lot of good work on the ground this year, Brock.
And these freshmen that come in, Todd Gurley a season ago at Georgia. How is this kid physically a freshman?
5'11", 206 pounds from that fertile recruiting grounds down in South Florida. Got 3 consecutive 100-yard games. 2nd and 3. Collins again, this time stopped up and stuffed. That's going to be a loss back to the 13-yard line. Nate Askew, a converted wide receiver, now playing linebacker. That's an interesting move, Brock.
That was a shift this spring. Just too talented an athlete to have stand on the sidelines, what Kevin Sumlin said, and why he made that change. And this is a group that needs help at linebacker.
Coach has sold Askew on the ability to be a pass rusher. 3rd down and 6. Williams back in the game. On the slant. Touchdown. Wow, what a catch by Hatcher. What a great start for Allen returning at quarterback. The pass a little bit behind Hatcher, but he made a great adjustment. And that was Allen's 6th touchdown pass of the season. The extra point good. And we are tied at 7. This sellout crowd of over 72,000 amped up and ready to get back on the winning track after a disheartening loss last week at Rutgers. Now that's a beginning.
ESPN College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Ace, the helpful place, and Audi, truth in engineering.
And welcome back, everyone, to Razorback Stadium, Fayetteville, Arkansas. This is what it looked like last night. Part of the pep rally, getting everybody turned up for the game today. And so far, it's lived up to the hype. Each team scoring on its opening possession. And Johnny Manziel will get a chance to get back on the field in just a moment. He went 4 for 4 on his opening drive and his touchdown pass to Mike Evans. But a good counter by Arkansas. Brandon Allen going 2 for 4 on his opening drive, and they ran the ball well for their score. Molina and Williams back deep. And it'll come back out to the 25-yard line. Let's look back at that Aggie touchdown. And what was the key here, Brock?
Mark, you can say you're going to rush Manziel, as Brett Bielema did yesterday, but I can't tell you how many times this shows up on film. It's patty cake at the line of scrimmage, in large part because that offensive line is really good. 7.7 seconds. The average, 3 to 5 seconds. I mean, if you're holding it for 5 seconds and your secondary has to defend the likes of Mike Evans, you're not going to get the job done, period. Nobody better on a scramble drill. They work on it. There's the ultimate trust between quarterback and wide receiver, and we saw all of that come to fruition on the first drive.
Those two are roommates on road trips like this one. Manziel out of the pocket. Finds his receiver, number 84, Kennedy, and Kennedy with a first down, gain of about 14 as we take a look at tonight's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
I believe both these offensive tackles from A&M will be in the NFL, and that's why the end, Smith and Flowers, to try to get some movement in the pocket to close it down so Manziel feels some sense of pressure, will be pivotal throughout this evening.
On that last pass, he's now gone over 5,000 yards passing in his career in just his 18th game. It doesn't always look pretty or by the book like that one, Brock, but he's a guy that's outside the box, right?
He is, but that exactly is what Arkansas has to do. To try to sack him, to try to hit him, very, very difficult. He is so slippery. But this is a long, athletic, talented defensive line, 14 sacks this season, and they must impact him and where he's going to throw the ball.
Manziel on the quick slant. Evans makes the catch and brought down just shy of the 40-yard line. Mike Evans hasn't been playing football that long, just started in his senior year of high school, so his learning curve pretty steep, but learning quickly. Under 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Pass complete to Kennedy, but brought down right away, just shy of the 40. By Gaines. Rohan Gaines making the stop for the Hogs. No gain on the play. It'll be second down and 10. Manziel with all day into traffic, incomplete. Intended for Labhart. Braylon Mitchell breaking it up along with Jarrett Lake. Third and long. What do you like here coming up if you're the Aggies? Seen a couple of incompletions now by Manziel.
It's so difficult to pressure Johnny. What you really want, Mark, and I can't say it enough, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, is to make sure your ends, Flowers and Smith, and they've got some different rush packages. Check it out. One guy's hand on the ground. They're going to show Manziel some different pictures pre-snap.
Got to get to the 31 for the first down. No pressure, but no problem for Johnny Manziel. Boy, he carries that football kind of loose, but his game is tight. First down, Texas A&M, 6:07 to go in the first quarter, and they move the chains.
What do? You play good defense. On the first down, little screen pass, tremendous effort from Gaines. Second down, you have a near interception by your linebacker. You think you've won, you think you're going to get off the field, and then he just stabs you right in the back, right through the heart, because you got it defended, you still can't stop him.
Split backs and he hands it off to Trey Carson. Breaks a couple of tackles. Carson inside the 5 with some determined running. First and goal. Aggies. He's their hammer guy, right?
He is a big, physical man.
19 yards, breaking several tackles along the way. Molina back in the ball game. On the fade to Evans. Jump ball, incomplete. That time the post-up didn't work, Brock. Well defended by Mitchell.
And Evans is saying to Mitchell, that's okay. You won 1, I've won 4. And they're going to keep targeting him. They like that matchup. Alabama couldn't cover him. I don't know who in college football can, with a quarterback that has, as I said earlier, the ultimate trust in him.
6'5", working against a 6-foot corner. This is Molina. Nice spin move into the end zone. Touchdown.
Mark, you want to know why they score 50 points a game? Can they run it with power?
Yes.
Can they run it with speed?
Check.
Can they throw it down the field?
Check.
Can they throw the intermediate game? And then can your quarterback, when everything else is covered, get you 15 on a scramble?
For Molina, his 6th rushing touchdown of the season, 18th of his career. The extra point just inside that right upright. Ben Molina, one of the captains of this team, makes it 14-7 Texas A&M. Stanford, pardon me, and at 10 on ESPN, and Arizona State hosting USC. 10:30 ESPN 2 tonight. Entertaining beginning to this game, making defensive coordinators around the country shake their heads as we go back to Wendy in the studio.
Mark, thank you. It's a Dr. Pepper 10 conference update, and we have a final score from Athens. LSU facing Georgia. It's 4th and 10 here for the Tigers. Zach Mettenberger incomplete, and that will seal the deal. Georgia pulls off the win, 44-41 at home. Over on ESPN, Ole Miss and Alabama, the tied with a 6-0 lead. And on ESPNU, Florida and Kentucky all tied up at 7-all. Mark?
All right, Wendy, back here, 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Jonathan Williams in at tailback. Brandon Allen went 2 for 4 on his opening drive, coming back from an injury, and fumbles the snap and is sacked back at the 17-yard line by Devontae Harris. 2nd and long coming up.
Texas A&M, a corner blitz here all the way, and unfortunately there for Brandon Allen, once you fumble that snap, play's over. The right blitz against the wrong mistake.
Don't want your quarterback taking many hits on that right shoulder either. That's the one that was injured a couple of games ago against Southern Miss. That's the 5th sack of the season for the Aggies. 2nd and 18. With play action. And incomplete at the 36-yard line, intended for Herndon. Sets up a 3rd and long for a team, Brock, that is primarily 70-30, a running to passing team. How do you figure this 3rd and long plays in?
Not built for moments like these. And that's why that 1st down penalty, 1st down fumbled snap, 1st down negative plays that really aren't the doing of the other side are just crippling to your offensive efforts.
Mark Snyder, the defensive coordinator for the Aggies, challenging his defensive front this week. The pass downfield, and the Aggie defense gets off the field. It'll be 1-2-3 punt. That pass intended for Hatcher. 4th and 18 coming up. Sam Irwin coming into punt. Pardon me, Irwin Hill. And he punts with his left and his right foot, folks. So which way will he go on this one? As long as he's on the same page as his coverage, it really doesn't matter. A&M came after him a little bit. And it takes an Aggie bounce. And Johnny Manziel and the offense will have good starting field position at the 46-yard line on that 35-yard punt. They lead by 7 when we return. Welcome back, Texas A&M, one of the highest scoring teams in the country, over 50 points a game. Kaylee, what's the Arkansas defense talking about?
Mark, Charlie Partridge, the defensive line coach, did as much listening during that last series as he did coaching. He wanted to know what his guys saw at the line of scrimmage, particularly in Dietrich Wise and Trey Flowers, motioning to him, showing him what it's like facing off with this Texas A&M O-line.
Well, they have struck so far with lethal precision. Another completion, the 8th of the ball game for Manziel. That was Trey Williams. Another one of those speedy backs picks up the 1st down.
Well, I'll tell you what it's like against this O-line. You're looking at 3 NFL guys. Jake Matthews, the left tackle, is going to be a top 5 pick. The right tackle, Oboyehi, impressed me incredibly on film. And then even the left guard, Harrison, folks within Texas A&M think all 3 of those guys will play on Sunday.
Out of the backfield again, it's Williams. Brought down, maybe got a yard on the play. Brought down by Brian Jones.
Incredible feat when you watch Jake Matthews, the balance And Luke Jokel did it on that left side, the blind side of Manziel a season ago. They've not missed a beat whatsoever with Matthews. He is a technician, which you'd expect with a Hall of Fame dad in Bruce Matthews.
Manziel, magic complete to Walker. And a first down inside the 20 at the 18-yard line. Again, Brock had made his own time to throw.
And a lot of quarterbacks, Mark, it's difficult to run to your left and throw. Not so when you have the athleticism, the balance. Turn into double play.
Another completion. This one to Holmes. And Holmes pushed out of bounds. A late flag coming as Holmes went down to the 14-yard line.
Holding, offense number 11. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
That's going to go against Walker.
And Johnny can pick this up at any point when he feels like it's 2-on-2 out there. He's got the numbers.
These Aggie receivers are pretty good blockers, though, right? You're telling me that on film.
There's just really not a vulnerability and weakness anywhere.
Their only loss of the season, that 7-point defeat at the hands of the defending national champs, Alabama. Ben Molina back in the ball game. Manziel into the end zone. Incomplete. Had Molina and just missed him. It'll be 3rd and 15 coming up.
And you can't throw it any better than that. That's just a miss, unfortunately, by Molina. This is textbook scramble drill. They work on this. They know that Johnny's going to create, that he's going to buy time, find that open space, he'll find you. Molina just couldn't finish the reception.
Check that 2nd and 15. Low snap. Manziel with all day. And lowers his hat and is brought down just outside the 20-yard line. Picked up about 3, still leaving a 3rd and long. Wise Jr. that time on the tackle. Was he just tired? Is that why he went down?
You can't hit him clean either. I know Wise excited. He wanted to light him up.
3rd and long. And Arkansas calls a timeout. Their first of the half. And we're going to take one right along with them.
Love is hard. Quick read is easy.
Dietrich Wise Jr. there, still a little amped up after tackling Johnny Manziel a few moments ago.
And the redshirt freshman, you love the energy, but I think some of his more veteran Razorback teammates saying, hey kid, settle down. It's a very long game and you don't have to do it once. We're going to need that about 80 snaps.
We were talking about it during the break. Manziel, with his elusiveness, he's like a Floyd Money Mayweather. It's tough to get a good shot on him, right?
How did I know you were going to fit that in tonight? He's got a little jack on this one.
He sure does. In the immortal words of Money Mayweather, he says Johnny Football, quote, never has a bad day, end quote. We'll see. Incomplete over the middle, intended for Kennedy and broken up. No flag on the play. Alan Turner got there right as the ball arrived. And 4th down coming up.
First time they've gone off the field on 3rd down. And I think an opportunity there for Turner. Yes, he gets the shot. But I think if he's playing the ball there, he's got an opportunity to have Manziel one-on-one to make a tackle.
Josh Lambo now in to attempt this field goal from 39 yards out. He won place kicking duties when Bertolet struggled last week. The former MLS soccer player for Dallas FC knocks it through. He's used to getting 1. He gets 3 for that. Aggies with a 17-7 lead, looking for their 10th consecutive win on the road. This is a team, Brock, that creates its own energy, so to speak, when they travel. And so far off to another good start. Kevin Sumlin, their head coach, with a great road formula. Marshall brought down inside the 25. Let's take one more look at that key play defensively by the Hogs.
In 2 of the losses, it's been turnovers. It's been takeaways. Alan Turner may have been a tad earlier. More important, get your head up and see that ball, and you have a chance to cut it off and make an interception. We went through the checklist in the Rolodex with Texas A&M offensively. The run, the pass, the size, the strength. When you have your opportunity to make a game-changing play, as Alabama did twice in their victory, you can't go for the knockout on the receiver. You got to take that ball away.
See what kind of answer Arkansas has. Alex Collins, the deep back in the eye. Yarrow Small, the fullback. And it's Small out of the backfield, and he is a load to try and bring down. Broke 1 tackle, made it out to the 31. Gain of about 8 on the play. Small, a former JUCO player out of Baltimore. As we take a look at the next games coming up, a great night of action on the ESPN platforms.
Chart first down tonight. There will be a direct correlation to the success of the Razorbacks. If they get positive yardage on first down, stay within rhythm, they've got an opportunity against this front 7, as we saw earlier, to push them around.
Allen with time, has a man wide open. Caught. Henry. And first down for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Hunter Henry's the guy they wanted to get the ball to.
True freshman, highly athletic. And I love how Jim Chaney hit him here. You're going to see him. He's in the wing, and he's going to just sneak on through. All the eyes of those Aggies are going to get lost in the run fake. You actually even see a slip defensively. And Hunter showing you why they are so high on him here at Arkansas. They think he's going to be a great one, and just a young puppy, a true freshman.
Big gain of 52 yards, 1st and 10. Collins brought down just shy of the 15-yard line. You may remember the story of Alex Collins last year signing out of South Plantation High School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The controversy involving his 2 parents. His mom wanted him to stay local and had her own ideas what to do with that letter of intent that was signed. They eventually worked it out. Collins now having a very productive early start to his career here at Arkansas. Little wildcat formation. Collins looking to take the direct snap. Keeps it himself. And they couldn't outflank that defense for the Aggies. And that punctuates the end of the first 15 minutes of play. The Aggies lead 17-7, looking for their 10th consecutive win on the road. Back with the second period after this. Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Primetime. It's the SEC on ESPN. Number 10, Texas A&M leading 17-7 as we move into the second quarter under the lights here at Razorback Stadium, the 80th edition of Texas A&M against Arkansas. Pivotal 3rd down coming up here. 4 to go for the Razorbacks. Power formation. Allen keeps it on the fake and wisely throws it away. Nobody home, nobody open. And 4th down coming up. The player shaken up down in the field for Texas A&M. That's Kirby Ennis. Ennis, one of those players that lost in the shuffle in the sense that Alabama won 49-42, but he had a very productive game, graded out very well.
And he's their beef. I mean, he is the guy in this matchup with what you're going to see from Arkansas from beginning to end. You really love to have the redshirt senior in there. What did Mark Snyder say to us, defensive coordinator, this week? He wants to see that group, that front four, because it's nothing but true freshmen and a true sophomore behind them. He wants to see those guys play the majority of the snaps.
They played 11 true freshmen first 2 games on defense, 18 overall. And that's one of the questions that people ask when they talk about Texas A&M and their national title aspirations. How much better can that defense be? Can they improve enough to put them on the threshold, perhaps, of course, you got to get out of the SEC.
Yeah, and you don't have to hold an opponent to 20 points.
Hey, what's happening in this conference? I mean, we saw, did you have any idea LSU Georgia would be that high scoring a game today?
Look how many offenses in this league that used to be a ground and pound line of scrimmage league. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Auburn, so many of them throwing the ball all over the yard.
Zach Hawker in to attempt this field goal from 28 yards out. 5 of 5 this season, and close inside that left upright, but good enough. Texas A&M's lead trimmed to just 7 now. Back here at Razorback Stadium under the lights. It has stopped raining, thankfully. Skies opened up at about 3 o'clock this afternoon and stopped just short of kickoff.
You've said about 3 times the energy in this building tonight is just fantastic. There's something about a superstar coming into your building that just elevates everybody's game. And Brandon Allen, how about his efforts? 100 yards in that first quarter, throwing the ball as well. And this is so critical to just keep pace. In order to run your style, do what you want to do, you've got to stay within arm's length of Texas A&M.
Williams will have it come out to the 25-yard line, and Johnny Manziel, conversely, a pretty productive day as well, Brock, passing and running. He's already thrown for 140 yards.
Well, he's on pace for 640 yards of total offense in 1 quarter of play. These extended plays, as I said earlier, no better scramble team in college football. And then this is where he is really, really gifted. And this conference has seen running quarterbacks in Tebow and Cam Newton, but he's even more explosive than both of them.
Ben Molina in the backfield. On 1st and 10, Molina on the handoff. And Molina might have gotten a couple of yards. You know, Manziel is the face of this team in many ways, but Molina, the heart and the spine of this offensive unit. A senior captain from Cedar Hill, Texas. 2nd down and about 8 to go for the Aggies. High snap. Molina gashes that front and gets the 1st down out to the 38-yard line.
And it's all a numbers game. It's all that box count. It's why you can never be right defensively. And I love what Kevin Sumlin said about Johnny Manziel. He doesn't just understand the plays, he's understanding the concepts, and in so doing, really learning how to attack whatever a defense does to him.
1st and 10, they're going to hand it off to Molina again into the boundary. And he'll gain about 2 yards. Wise Jr. making the stop. It was Wise who was amped up a little bit earlier. They were talking a little bit of junk to Molina. It's funny, didn't see a flag thrown on that one. 2nd down and 8. Manziel out of harm's way, and this is where he can do his own damage. Thought about sliding, then took a few extra yards inside the 40 to the 31-yard line. A 21-yard pickup, make that a 39-yard line, a 21-yard gain. And Brock, you're shaking your head because how do you defend it, right? Brandon Williams in. Evans, his safety valve, and the pass complete down to the 31-yard line, an 8-yard gain.
I said to you a fun factor earlier, right? And then I'll just wing it. He's Brett Favre without the arm strength, with a whole lot more speed.
2nd and 2. I was about to add that. Big hole up the middle for Williams. Down to the 10-yard line. Brandon Williams, the Oklahoma transfer. A 21-yard chunk of real estate. And a hurry-up offense back in formation. This time, nothing doing for Williams. Brought down for a loss. Back at the 12-yard line by Brandon Lewis. A loss of about 3 on the play. 2nd down coming up. Play fake by Manziel, and takes off and brought down shy of the 5 at about the 7-yard line. Picked up 5. Arkansas players calling for a flag, not sure why. But you know what? We saw Wise jawing a little bit earlier, and there was no flag thrown on that one. 3rd and 6.
Let him play. Yep. Good.
Part of the game. 3rd and 6. Blitz. Manziel. Evans. Caught. Touchdown. Houdini does it again. And Evans comes up limping. But what a great effort on the jump ball.
I mean, are you serious? I mean, are you kidding me? And that's unfortunate for Evans. But I can't tell you how many times you see this on film and you just wonder, how is he going to get away with this? He throws that into 4 jerseys. But he knows, like a good alley-oop, his guy is going to finish.
And Evans writhing in pain.
And that's a bad deal because they don't have another Mike Evans on this roster.
He is the comfort zone. He is the safety blanket for Johnny Manziel in this offense.
Silly. Silly.
Pretty good tandem. Just throw it up.
ESPN College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Chrysler, imported from Detroit. And Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
How much money would I have to pay you to kiss Tusk, the mascot, huh? They were feeding him 7 pounds of grapes in that video there. You know, after meeting Tusk a little bit earlier, I think I'm going to get off bacon. I don't do bacon.
I don't know. I'd like to see Tusk and Uga, because Uga can slobber a little bit too. That'd be a true slobber knocker between those two.
14-point game. The big story right now is the health concern for wide receiver Mike Evans of Texas A&M after catching that touchdown. There's Keon Hatcher on the return for the Razorbacks. Out to the 17 as we go to Wendy in the studio.
Mark, thank you. A check on Florida and Kentucky on ESPNU. All tied up here at 7-all. Tyler Murphy, though, to Trey Burton in the back of the end zone. And the score now 14-7. Florida over Kentucky. And on ESPN, we're at the half. A very heated Nick Saban, not thrilled with his team, but they lead 9-0 over Ole Miss.
All right, thanks a lot, Wendy. Back here, 1st down and 10 from the 18-yard line. Jonathan Williams in the backfield beside quarterback Brandon Allen. Allen completes it out to the 25-yard line. Hunter Henry, a guy that they said they wanted to get the ball to. He has the longest play of the game so far as we go downstairs to Caley.
Mark, Mike Evans in very good spirits on the sidelines, giving his teammates and trainers assurances that he's just fine. As for defensive lineman Kirby Ennis, the look on his face more of frustration than pain as doctors looked at his left knee. He left the 2010 season, spent that on the sidelines with a right leg injury, so he's working this one off.
All right, Kaylee, and keep an eye on that. That was Williams plowing ahead for a little over a yard on the play. This A&M defense facing some question marks. Used a lot of young guys early, had 11 freshmen in the first 2 games. There were some suspensions, Brock, and now Mark Snyder feels that this is the group that he's settled on and he wants to go with, and challenging that front to be in the game as long as they can. They don't want to be forced to play a lot of different guys. Jonathan Williams dotting the I. Or play action. Good catch out of the backfield by Small. Piero Small gets the first down for Arkansas.
And how about the game plan right now? Jim Chaney, offensive coordinator, veteran offensive coordinator, and a lot of fun he is to talk to, maximizing his weapons, be it Small, Henry, the shots down the field. I think everybody in this building expected if Brandon Allen was going to play, it was going to be in a game manager role. But he is opening it up and finding lots of success through the air.
First and 10. Pass complete. Forward progress going to be marked at the 47-yard line. Gain of 7 on the play. Good catch by Herndon working against Harris.
And you've called enough Brett Bielema games to know that 9 out of 10 times it's the run that does what? It sets up the pass and the play action pass. And this is advantage Arkansas, because if they can give this threat legitimately, and all of a sudden defensively Mark Snyder's got to account for that passing game, then you get the numbers with the big beef inside and that fullback Small that you want to wear down this defense as the game moves along.
2nd and 3. Collins with nowhere to go, gang tackled. That's going to be a loss. They'll mark it at the 44-yard line. 3rd and about 6 coming up. There were some questions about this Aggie defense's ability to tackle, Brock. What do you see so far?
Well, they've been more sound. I'll tell you what Mark's doing. A lot of what Kyle Flood and Rutgers did a week ago, and that's stunt and that's blitz. We've seen some corner blitzes. We've seen these linebackers blitz. And I think in his feeling it is you stop this run first and you make Brandon Allen and these receivers beat you for 4 quarters.
Jonathan Williams back in the game. Allen gets rid of it quickly on the slant, complete. That's going to be a first down catch by Eric Hawkins, keeping the drive alive inside A&M territory, a gain of 8.
Can't throw it any better. We've given Johnny Manziel plenty of love and a ton of credit for what he's done. That ball is out on time. It's a 3rd down conversion. That time he did not see any pressure, and Allen not looking rusty at all.
Son of a coach, his dad actually on the staff here at Arkansas, defensive lineman coach. The toss to Williams. Nice cutback, got about 4 on the play. Well, points leader Matt Kenseth is 2 for 2 in the chase for the Sprint Cup, lengthening his lead over Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson. Now Kenseth has his sights set on the checkered flag in round 3 with 8 races to go. NASCAR's best continue the drive for the championship. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Dover, Sunday at 1 on ESPN, also live on the Watch ESPN app.
A lot of great racetracks. For me, I think Dover's one of my favorite.
I kind of like the one in Bristol, a little tighter on the turns. There's Williams with a nice move at the line of scrimmage and fights for the first down. Great run by Jonathan Williams to pick up 9 yards. Jonathan Williams told us about the new atmosphere amongst the coaching staff when Brett Bielema took over.
System plays to his strengths, much like it does Alex Collins.
1st and 10.
Watch the shot play here.
The toss. Marshall got to the edge, and a first down inside the 20-yard line.
And the shot play is not always down the field with the arm. This was a look they told us about. They wanted to get Marshall Speed, a true freshman, on the field. We saw the kickoff return earlier, and that's a little gadget. That's a gimmick. That's something A&M has not seen. In fact, Brett Bielema said it was really on scout team. We kept looking at this kid, Marshall, and man, he's got a little bit of quickness and juice. We need that to complement Collins and Williams. Again, a very well-executed call. And a nice chunk play for Arkansas.
Gain of 16, 1st and 10. Razorbacks moving the football down the field. Pass. Touchdown, Williams.
This was a rocket. And A&M just loses track, and you see the poor eyes in the secondary.
The extra point good by Hawker. And we've got a 1-touchdown game with 6:02 to go in the first half. Brandon Allen firing a rope to Williams for his first touchdown catch this season. (24-17). And the joint got a little bit more juice, especially jumping now after that last touchdown pass from Brandon Allen to Jonathan Williams. Allen was 5 for 5 on that drive. Williams will take a knee. Out to the 25 where those start. Well, the most storied conference in college athletics will live on a new network. Tradition has found a new home. The SEC network launching August 14th, August 2014. For more information, log on to www.getsecnetwork.com. All the different events and championships in the SEC. Trey Carson in the backfield. 1st and 10 for Texas A&M. Manziel completes the pass. Walker made that grab. They've been pretty proficient on their first 4 possessions here, Brock.
And the conversation has to be, hey, defense, just hold them to a field goal. Just find a way maybe to even get a stop, because Arkansas's offense has been equally as good, other than just the one fumbled snap on 1st down that set them back on that drive.
Out to the 45-yard line, that was Walker. Picked up 11 yards, and the good news for Texas A&M is that Mike Evans is back in the game on the field. Standing to the bottom of your screen. 1st down and 10. Trey Carson in the backfield.
Pick your poison. 6 in the box. Going to keep throwing it.
Which he fires away, completes it into the boundary to Walker again. They keep going back.
Same play. That's the exact same play 3 times in a row. And you've seen on this drive Arkansas say, you know what, instead of messing around with our safeties, we're going to put 6 guys between the tackles. And Johnny, will you have the patience to run the same play and take the same hitch, consecutive downs? And he has.
2nd and 4.
You'll always be alert for a double move as well. Constantly having an answer for anything a defense throws at you.
Goes back the same way, same result. More yards and a 1st down at the 35-yard line. What's the adjustment for Arkansas then? Because that's 3-4 times already. 11-yard gain.
Well, the defense is the first 4 drives, as we just showed in that chart, we're not getting it done. And here you are trying to mix it up, and they just take advantage, and he shows you that he will be patient. and take what's there.
Little receiver screen again. Walker filling his hat on this drive, picked up 9.
I've told you before the story of when I was backing up Peyton Manning with Tom Moore, and it was a check with me system just like this every single snap. And against the Dallas Cowboys, I charted the same play 13 straight snaps. Because if a defense isn't going to stop it, why do you go away from it?
Manziel looked that way, pump faked, and then made it happen on his own, but there's a flag down back at the 26-yard line. This might come back.
Holding. 74. Your spot.
Ifedi, the culprit.
And he's the youngster. He's the redshirt freshman on a very mature group that calls themselves the Maroon Goons. They're big, they're physical. They get nowhere near the credit because of the star power everywhere else. But this group, very, very talented as well.
Manziel with time. Surveying the field while on the run. Got a block at the 32-yard line and tipped out of bounds right around the 30. Picked up 4. It'll be 3rd down coming up.
And this is the right way to do it. This is the job of the officials. Is there anything demeaning? Is there any taunting here? And I know, Mark, you like this, the back and forth, and both sides are doing it.
Part of sports. Part of competition.
If it's taunting, throw the flag. That's not taunting. Let him play.
3rd and 6. Manziel improvising, but sacked. Razorbacks got him that time. Chris Smith got the sack. And Wise was there as well. Chris Smith leads the SEC in sacks coming into the weekend. 4th down coming up.
And you want to know why you don't celebrate like you just won the game?
Why?
Because more than likely you're going to have to keep doing it snap after snap. And actually, Manziel back on the field, though. This sure looks like a pooch punt.
Away again. Offense 22. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
He just loves it, doesn't he?
You can speculate all you want about his off-the-field activities, but on the field, under the searing spotlight, Johnny Manziel is one productive quarterback. 4th down coming up. And now Drew Kaser comes in to punt. Here's the punt. Oh, and a great one it is. It'll go out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. Drew Kaser with a great 32-yard punt. Wise a little jacked up. You don't believe me? Watch this. He's just doing what he's supposed to. Shake what your mama gave you. An electric atmosphere here at Razorback Stadium. Arkansas down 7, but with possession. And just under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Mark Jones alongside Brock Heward. Haley Hartung down on the sidelines. 1st and 10 for Arkansas.
Fair to say Arkansas has been maybe more aggressive than anybody anticipated offensively in this first half. Let's see if they dial that back here, knowing they want to keep possession and they get it in the second half.
Williams, the deep back, dotting the I. And he takes the handoff, a nice cutback. Right over the 10 to the 12-yard line. At about 7 as we go back to Wendy in the studio.
Coming up on the Outback Steakhouse halftime report, we'll have a full recap of that afternoon in Athens with LSU and Georgia. A check on Wisconsin on the road at Ohio State, and quick hits from around college football with our version of the No Huddle. Robert Smith, Todd McShay, join me coming up at the half.
All right, Wendy, a pretty competitive week, some great matchups in college football. Across all the various conferences, a couple of interesting Pac-12 tilts tonight. You'll see them on the ESPN family of networks. This is Williams fighting for the first down out near the 20. Nice run by Jonathan Williams. Had a chance to visit with him yesterday at the football offices. And Brock, what about the ability of Brett Bielema to attract backs like this now under this style?
And you're going to continue to see it in fullbacks and tight ends, and with so many teams in this conference going to that spread. Yes, you're going to compete with Alabama and LSU for those kids, but what has Bielema always done? He's developed them, and that will be so critical to his long-term success here.
Allen going up top and broken up nicely near midfield. That was Tremaine Jacobs. Tried to find Herndon. And 2nd down and 10. What do you make of Allen's performance so far coming back after 2 weeks away?
I think better than expected, and I've loved the play calls and the mix and taking the shots just like that. When you have your opportunities in one-on-one, and it's not been fun and gun the entire half, it's still been a good mix and balance, but he is showing no signs whatsoever of a sore shoulder.
2nd and 10 from the 20. Collins, the true freshman, the deep back out of the eye. Collins with a great cutback. What a move. Collins, first down into A&M territory. Stephen Jenkins may have saved a touchdown for Texas A&M. What a great burst by the freshman. And now they've got a chance to put some points up. 2 timeouts remaining. A 38-yard pickup.
Just tremendous vision, and then the athleticism, as you said, to cut that all the way back. You've seen that in his 100-yard games. And what a huge play here before half.
Pressure coming by A&M. And they force the incompletion. Stops the clock with 23 seconds to go. 2nd and 10 coming up.
You get the stop defensively, and really other than a bungled snap on a first down, look how efficient Arkansas has been. They have not gone backwards. There have been no self-inflicted errors with any penalties whatsoever. Protected the football. Big reason why they're within 7. Get the ball to begin the second half. And if you're Brandon Allen here, don't get too greedy. Continue to take what's there.
2nd and 10. Allen hits his receiver down to the 30-yard line. Eric Hawkins. 1st and 10, 18 seconds to go. 12-yard gain.
I think you got to burn a timeout here. There you go.
And he's going to do that. Down 7 points, 16 seconds to go. They burn a timeout. Brett Bielema told us, hey, it's a good thing we have this Texas A&M team coming in, ranked number 10 in the country, coming off a disconcerting, disheartening loss last week against Rutgers, because they can't afford to let Rutgers beat them twice, so to speak.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think stylistically, and you've seen this, they feel like this matchup is pretty good for them. They feel like mano-a-mano, they're going to get up there and be able to run the ball. And with Allen throwing the ball this way, they have been very difficult for A&M to try to defend.
What's been the most surprising part of Arkansas's performance so far for you?
Yeah, I think his efficiency. Because so many times in this system, you are the facilitator. You are the game manager in a Brett Bielema system, and it's been a different story tonight. And it's what you've got to do, frankly, against top-rated teams. You have got to be willing in your weakness and maybe your deficiency to show and to prove to that defense, hey, we're more than willing to continue to attack and fight our way through it.
16 seconds to go. Remember, offensive coordinator Jim Chaney is the type of guy that has a few wrinkles up his sleeve throughout the years, going back to his days with the Rams in the NFL and Purdue in the Big Ten.
And you see the big tight end, Hunter Henry, to the top, very top of your screen. They like his speed. He gets a one-on-one. Nope, safety's going to get help. He's got to keep an eye on.
Allen flushed out, and he's going to take off with it. Hey, there's two quarterbacks that can run in this football game. A little bit short of the first down, picked up 8.
Okay, now be very careful here. You have a timeout. You have to ensure that this play does not go longer. There is no wild scramble. Bielema is going to tell him, he's going to scream it at him. To understand, you've got 10 seconds. You don't need to be Johnny Manziel and dance and hold the ball for 9 seconds. You have got to ensure, and maybe you even try to put the ball here in the middle to ensure that you get the 3, knowing you get the ball to start the second half.
Allen working out of the shotgun. A lot of time, maybe too much time, and wisely throws it away with 4 seconds to go. Now you figure that the field goal unit will come in. It was the big run by Collins that put them in field position to give them an opportunity for 3 points here. Zach Hawker coming in to attempt this field goal.
Mark, how many times do we say in these games that emotion, that momentum going into half, coming out of half, so critical often in the outcome?
And now Brock, Texas A&M calls a timeout, and Kevin Sumlin trying to ice the place kicker, Zach Hawker. Kevin Sumlin in his second year as head coach at Texas A&M. He reminded his team after that Alabama game that, hey guys, there's still a lot of football to go. We've got big games coming up like this one against Arkansas. He said, remember, Alabama won the national championship last year after we beat them. So there's no reason why we can't make a comeback. Walker is 14 of 18 in between 30 and 39 career-wise. This from 39. And he punches that through, no doubt. 2 for 2 on the night, bringing Arkansas to within 4 of Texas A&M. And that's the end of the first half of play. A little bit of heat, a little bit of pressure on Texas A&M going into the locker room.
You think Brett would have signed up for this? Down 4 going into half. Your offense is efficient. Your team overall taking care of the ball, not being penalized. And you stopped Manziel just one time, but you're right within earshot, down 4, and getting the ball to begin the second half of play.
Let's go downstairs to Kaylee.
Coach, you didn't even know if you would have Brandon Allen this week. How do you assess what he's done in this first half?
He's obviously a very good player. We got to continue to make first downs. Obviously playing into our favor right now. With defense, we got to come up with a few key stops, continue to be efficient with the clock, and let that second half play out.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Kaylee. That's the story at the half. Texas A&M leading 24-20. Right now, we're going to join Wendy and the gang for the Outback halftime report. Back in the studio, guys. And welcome back, everyone, to ESPN's College Football Primetime. It's the SEC on ESPN, number 10, Texas A&M, with a 4-point lead going into the locker room and coming out into the third quarter. Johnny Manziel's team looking for its first conference win of the season. Mark Jones chopping it up alongside Brock Heward. Kaylee Hartung down on the sidelines joining us in just a moment. Well, Brock, at the top of the show, we talked about Johnny Manziel and the defense, Arkansas's defense, ability to contain him. Well, so far he's passed for over 204 yards. Have they contained him, so to speak?
No, he's on pace to throw for over 400, run for 100. That's a 500-yard night right here. Now, you got the one critical stop, but I'll tell you what is most amazing, Mark, and you can watch it on tape all you want, the coaching tape. Then when you see it in real life, the amount of trust in the relationship that he has with Mike Evans in the big plays tonight, the touchdowns because of it. Most quarterbacks, when you look at those decisions, especially that last one, you put a real question mark by that. There's no longer question marks. He has the ultimate relationship in Evans, knows that he throws the alley-oop, he's going to slam it home. As advertised, Mark, that's what Manziel's been.
Each team has scored on 4 of 5 possessions in the first half. Arkansas will get the ball to start off the third quarter here, and they'll start from the 25-yard line. First, though, Kaylee had a chance to speak with Coach Sumlin. What did he have to say, Kaylee?
Well, Mark, his frustrations lie in the fact that they cannot get Arkansas off the field on 3rd and 4th down. So that's what they have got to do. He said he wasn't surprised by what Brandon Allen has been able to do in terms of execution for Arkansas's offense. Defensive coordinator Mark Snyder told us earlier this week they would learn a lot about this defense today, but Coach Sumlin hasn't seen what he would like to see. And Kirby Ennis remains sidelined. Sumlin couldn't tell me if we'll see him again in this game.
A couple of unknown variables still. First down and 10 for the Hogs from the 25. Allen hands it off to Williams, and that is the Brett Bielema signature smash ball on the ground.
But tremendous balance in that first half. 17 runs, 18 passes, and almost on every run, what did you see? The same yards after contact. You see the initial Aggie there at the legs of the running back, but instead of a 0-yard gain, he's falling forward for nearly 5 yards, and then that sets the table for the rest of the drive and the execution.
Coming into the game, Arkansas had been a 70-30 rush to passing team. 2nd and 5. Allen with one-on-one coverage, and the Aggies win that battle. One of his few misses on the day so far. He's had a hot hand for most of this game.
When you're a competitor, and I know that Brandon is, and his little brother is, that's on staff here, and his dad as well, and you've got a superstar on the other side, you want to show what you can do and what you're capable as well. Brett Bielema said this kid can throw it, and I think everybody concerned about that shoulder injury. Missed a week ago, but tonight he's been aggressive, he's been on point, and even on a throw like that, he's given his receiver in a one-on-one, and actually the tight end there, Jeremy Sprinkle, giving him an opportunity to make a play, and he can, and that's unfortunate for Ennis. Kaylee talking about it after half. He tried to gut it out, he tried to come back, and you can see the redshirt senior's immense frustration.
Obviously upset at having to come out of the ball game. He's a key cog in what they like to do up front. 3rd down and 5 for the Razorbacks on this, their opening possession of the second half. Picked off, and it's a pick 6. Room service for the Aggies. Everett, touchdown. His 2nd interception of the year goes for 6 points. DeShazer Everett, he's the guy that they pointed to, Brock, that had to play well tonight.
And he baited Brandon into that throw. Zone coverage, and he gave just enough cushion to give the quarterback the illusion that he couldn't cover that up. And you see the excitement there of Mark Snyder. His best defensive player is Everett. And that time he got the better of Allen because he showed you the quickness he has to allow just enough cushion that you're going to throw it. And then he makes an enormous play to begin the second half.
The extra point good. Everett, a guy that had been moved between corner and safety. Doesn't matter where he is. He's ubiquitous all over the field. That time, good for a pick 6. Get your NFL Sunday started on ESPN at 10. It's Sunday NFL Countdown. Chris Berman and the crew providing all the latest news and updates from stadiums around the league right up to kickoff. And then, before you set your lineups, catch Fantasy Football Now at 11 a.m. on ESPN2 as our experts provide the latest news, injury reports, and predict the top fantasy performers. I'm looking forward to that Dolphin team this Monday. Making a little ruckus down in South Florida, my part of the woods. Brock Hewitt. Off 595 and the turnpike. And this one will come back out to the 25-yard line. One more look at that pick by Everett for the touchdown.
It's always a little game of cat and mouse, and you saw the inside slant effective in that first half. What do you see Everett do? The key here, as I said earlier, is he baits this throw. He doesn't jump on it right away. Look at that amount of cushion. He knew to give just enough, to hesitate just enough before he pulled the trigger, baited the quarterback, and Snyder loves it.
Well, what does that do for a defense that has been vilified and criticized so much, especially in the secondary?
Well, what did Kaylee say from Kevin Sumlin? Yeah. We got to find a way to get off the field on third down. Well, that's a whole lot better than just getting off the field.
Let's see how Arkansas responds here. Collins in the backfield out of the offset eye. Small is the fullback. And it's Collins showing some nice burst. And Everett made maybe a touchdown-saving tackle. Nice run by the freshman, 19 yards.
It's a game of adjustments, and we saw this right before half with Collins having the vision to cut it back. It's been very fast flow by the Aggie defense. And give a ton of credit to the youngster getting a feel and a sense for that, and then more importantly, having the athletic ability to cut that across the grain and get the big play.
First down and 10. Allen to pass. And there's his favorite target tonight, the tight end, Henry. Hunter Henry working against Everett. What an athletic play.
And you love that throw coming back off the interception. Are you going to be a little tentative with your trigger? That's once again Everett, the guy that just picked you, their best defensive player. And like we've seen on the other side with Manziel and Evans, the willingness to even throw it in a tight window. That's exactly what Allen does, coming back from the pick and picking on the guy that got after him.
From the 35. There he is again, Hunter Henry. First down and goal to go for the Razorbacks. Getting it in nice chunks. 21 the last time, 26 here.
What a response in a game of back and forth. And when you're playing an A&M team with the guy on the sidelines offensively, you know your margin is incredibly small. What a tremendous job here by Arkansas to respond to the negativity on that first drive. And what do? You go to your best players.
Henry already over 100 yards receiving, 109. First and goal. Toss to the wide side of the field. Collins in a foot race. Got there, touchdown. What an answer by Arkansas.
Talked earlier about the A&M receivers blocking. That's not easy. That's out in space. That's Herndon. That's doing your job, helping your buddy out. And what a response from the Hogs.
For Collins, it's his third rushing touchdown of the season. They moved it downfield in 4 plays, 75 yards, used up just 1:36 on the clock. And a big response by Arkansas and their true freshman. A big night in the Pac-12 can be seen on ESPN and ESPN2 tonight. At 10 on ESPN, David Shaw's number 5 Stanford face Washington State. Then at 10 on ESPN2, Lane Kiffin's Trojans battle Todd Graham's Sun Devils. ESPN's college football finale. Stanford Washington State at 10 on ESPN, and USC Arizona State at 10:30 on ESPN2 tonight. What do you look for, partner?
That's the big one right there. Connor Halliday has to take care of the football tonight against a Stanford team that loves to ground and pound. Not like Arkansas, but they too have a trigger man in Hogan. All Stanford has to do is ask USC as well about the front 7 of Wazoo. That group is improved incredibly. I think that's going to be a good ball game in really inclement weather tonight up in Seattle.
Speak of inclement weather. The rain has held off for most of the night. This is Williams on the return. And he got rocked at the 22-yard line by Spate. Well, Johnny Mansell and the offense going to take the field for the first time here in the second half. But one more look at this hit. That's real talk right there. Letting your play do the talking. The Aggies will start from their own 22. Mansell has connected on his last 7 passes in a row. They hand it off on first down. A yawning hole for Trey Carson all the way out to the 31-yard line, about a yard shy of the first down. Second and short. They run it again. And that's going to be Molina, stopped up short, depending on the spot. Yeah, he's going to be short. It'll be 3rd and about 1 to go. Now the rain is starting to come down. Be interesting to see how much of a factor that plays in the game here with the styles of the respective teams. 3rd and 1. Molina with the first down and then some. All the way out to the 37-yard line. Got about 6 on the play. And they move the chains on this, their first possession of the 3rd quarter. First and 10. Mansell making it happen with his legs, gets to the edge and pushed out of bounds at the 40-yard line. You know, before this drive, Brock, he had been on the sideline for 45 minutes of real time. And how much of an effect does it have on a quarterback like him in his style?
Yeah, I don't think it bothers him, because we showed earlier in this game as he warmed up and got himself ready how effective Texas A&M is in their opening drives. I don't think he has any issue heating it up.
Molina into the boundary, broke a couple of tackles and stopped up at about the 43-yard line. Jarrett Lake making the stop. How much has that strategical change of moving out their tackles and using ends as down linemen helped or hurt?
Yeah,
if any effect?
Yeah, I don't think we've seen that a ton. These are the areas. This is the aspect of the game. As much as someone was talking about third down here for Arkansas and finding a way to get off the field will define and play a defining role in the outcome of this second half.
3rd and 3. Finds Molina, but he slipped and fell incomplete near midfield. Mother Nature might have had a hand in that play.
It may have, and I think Johnny, for one of the rare occasions, got a little bit greedy here. You're going to see the running back come out of the backfield, and all the while, Johnny keeps his eyes downfield. He is so dangerous doing so, but remember, 3 yards. 3 yards is all you need. You just chuck that out quicker and get that ball out to Molina. He gets you a whole lot more than 3.
Kaiser with just the 2nd punt of the night for him. Let's see where they spot this. They're going to say it goes into the end zone. It'll come back out. A 56-yard punt, nothing on the return. And Arkansas's offense in a nice groove after that last drive, down by 4.
ESPN College Football Primetime, brought to you by Audi, Truth in Engineering, and Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind.
Well, last season, the Razorbacks were named the John McDonald Program of the Year recognition of their national finishes last season. Track and field with a great reputation here, and they honored the team at halftime. You go back several years. A decade ago, Tyson Gay, the American world record holder in the 100 meters at 9.69. The Wallace Spearman, one of the fastest men on the planet, too, in the 200 meters, around 1965. Personal best all time. Veronica Campbell running for Jamaica. Some great athletes have come out of Arkansas, not only on the football field, but off the track. First down and 10. This is Collins over the left side of that offensive line. Alonzo Williams making the stop, a gain of about 2 on the play. Hey, how much does the rain change things, if at all, for the respective teams and how they approach things offensively?
Well, I think the common belief would be, Mark, that it's going to affect the team that's comfortable running the ball. But the way that Johnny Manziel can run the football, I think he mitigates some of that. And then what have you seen from Arkansas? Why is this a 4-point game? Because of their ability to do what tonight more than anything? And that's balance their offense out throwing it.
Second down and 8, and Brandon Allen right there making his return to the gridiron after missing the last couple of games. This is Williams' turn, and Williams stopped short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and about 3 to go.
And these are the plays, remember, that Kevin Sumlin said to Kaylee coming out of halftime. These are the 3rd downs that we have got to get off the field and win defensively so you can get your offense back on the field and you can quiet some of the confidence that you know Arkansas built in that first half of play offensively.
3 of 7 on 3rd down tonight. Jonathan Williams in at tailback. Allen with a quick release, completed, but great open field tackling that time on the edge by Devontae Harris, and it'll be 3 and out for Arkansas offensively. It's a defense that has been questioned in terms of their hitting and tackling at times this year with some of the points they've given up, but they responded on that one.
That was as good and sound and fundamental a tackle as we've seen all night from Texas A&M.
Erwin Hill punting. The rugby-style punter from Melbourne, Australia. Remember, he can punt with both legs and has done so. High snap. Handles it. And a line drive. Well, that was like a pitching wedge. Stopped dead at the 33-yard line. A 39-yard punt. 7:48 to go in the 3rd quarter. Back after this. And welcome back, everyone, to Razorback Stadium as we take a look at FaceTime Profile, brought to you by Edward Jones. And Jake Matthews, the face on the FaceTime Profile. And you scroll down a little bit. Great family lineage when it comes to this sport. And he's number 6 on Mel Kiper's big board.
Teaching tape. What do you always hear about offensive linemen? Those long arms. You want to lock out on them. You want to have a tremendous base. He's fundamentally sound, and you can't really do it any better. And we've seen it from beginning to end tonight with Jake Matthews. Exactly why Mel's got him where he's got him. And you'll see him go in the top 5 like his buddy Luke Jokel did a season ago.
Manziel on the pitch into the boundary. Trey Williams. Nowhere to go, really. He got about 2 yards on the play. 2nd down and 8. What's this Arkansas defense done on the last series and play here to kind of stunt Texas A&M?
Well, they've not blitzed. I don't think they've blitzed all night. They've wanted to keep everything in front of them, make Johnny and Texas A&M show that they would be willing to be patient and take what's underneath. And you've seen 2 safeties for the majority of the night, or even when they walk down, very little pressure against Johnny.
What a run by Williams. He'll be about 2 yards short of the first down. And the Aggies have changed tack a little bit here with respect to running a little bit more than passing here in the second half, albeit still a little bit early to see if that trend holds. 3rd and 2. They get the first down and then some. Out to the 45-yard line, Trey Williams with his 3rd consecutive carry. Do we call it a trend now?
Yeah, well, number one, I don't know how weather dependent. We've got to see that play out. But I think it's also a reflection of knowing, and it's Tevin Mitchell coming off the field.
Oh, it looked like
friendly
Mitchell
fire.
ran into his own man.
Some friendly fire, but I think it's also a reflection of what Arkansas has done offensively and really having their way and going up and down the field, that Kevin Sumlin says, hold on a second. You know, let's possess the ball a little bit as well, keep our defense on the sidelines, and show that we're more than capable of running it right at Arkansas.
We'll run it again. This is Carson on the move, still on his feet, and bowls his way over the 45 down to the 42, a 13-yard pickup and another first down. So the Aggies playing a little bit of smash ball behind Matthews and that big offensive line. Carson again. Boy, unrelenting and unremitting. Stayed on his feet after taking a couple of blows and picked up 7.
Well, it's one of the beauties that Texas A&M has with Molina, Williams, Carson, and even saw Trey Williams on that option. You are fighting for every carry. You know when you get your opportunity, boy, you really got to bring it because you're not going to get too many touches.
5 consecutive running plays for the Aggies. Make it 6. And a quick cut by Trey Williams, who got the carry and picked up the first down. Just shy of the 30-yard line.
What did we say earlier about just taking that quick hitch? Time and again and again and again, the same play. Well, if you're going up and down the field and they're not stopping you and they're not adding extra defenders around the line of scrimmage, then much like you do in the passing game and the run game, continue to take what's there.
Out of the half.
And the Razorbacks call timeout. And we're going to take one right along with them. Brett Bielema trying to press the right button when we come back. And welcome back to the rain and the Texas A&M Aggies looking for their 10th consecutive road win. Williams, Trey Williams, another first down on the ground. And they are just lining up and playing a little smash ball against the Hogs.
And then this sets the table for what? Now, one of these times, Johnny may just pull it back. It sets up the table for all the play action passes. These safeties now have to get involved in that run game as well.
And off again to Williams. And a nice tackle that time to limit the gain to about 3 yards by Trey Flowers. Had a big game last week. Flowers did right there, number 86, a sack and a fumble recovery. Ian Smith, a couple of good pass rushers. Aggies have run it 8 consecutive times now. Make it 9. Williams straight ahead. Touchdown, Texas A&M. Brock, I guess sometimes still in football, you just roll up your sleeves and you block and you run it.
You don't put up 602 yards of offense a game, 50 points a game if you're one-dimensional. No matter how good your quarterback is, it just does not happen. And Kevin Sumlin showing you that whether it's throwing it in the first half for over 200 or coming out in the second half and running it on nearly every single snap, multi-dimensional.
The extra point good. And Texas A&M up 38-27. They run the ball 9 consecutive times to score. And you look at where this team is right now, and let's step back and look big picture a little bit at the Aggies under Kevin Sumlin. Came in last year, got the big upset win in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. Come back this year, you have the Johnny Manziel off the field news, whether they were newsworthy items or not. It made headlines. And how do you think he's handled everything around this team and Manziel? I
think very, very well. I don't think you could have a better guy, to be quite honest with you. And in spending the couple days here around this Texas A&M school and program, the assistant coaches, the athletic director, everybody knows the important role that Sumlin plays as well. He's kind of back burner in the conversation, right? It's Manziel, it's all the talent, the NFL guys. And then all the while, he's kept this ship very, very steady. And he's going to be in demand.
Guy that had great success with University of Houston, some high-scoring offenses there, and then Now at Texas A&M in his second year, a former linebacker at Purdue. Bob Stoops' disciple in the coaching ranks. Hatcher on the kickoff return. And Hatcher's going to give them good field position out near the 35 as we go back to Wendy in the studio. All right, Jonathan Williams, Wendy back here, dotting the I and actually the offset I. On the reverse, this is Hatcher. And Hatcher with a nice gain out to the 43-yard line. Got about 8 or 9. Approaching 4 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Pretty critical drive here. All night long, every time that A&M has felt like you're starting to see them pull away to stretch that lead, what has Arkansas done? They've responded. They've closed the gap. And pivotal as you near the fourth quarter, a little Wildcat formation here. They do the same.
This is Kiero Small now out of the Wildcat. And he'll get the first down, a load at 242 pounds. Folks, believe it or not, he slimmed down, quote unquote. Used to be much, much heavier when he was playing linebacker. And if you don't believe me, that's a before and after ad right there. See, that tattoo on his left pectoral muscle looks a lot better in the right side picture, doesn't it?
Yeah, the traps look a little nasty too. And Brett Bielema loves this guy. I asked him, how is this identity shift? Because you are changing who you are and how you want to play. How's it going? And he pointed to Small in a big way, being the guy to make it go.
Taking a shot downfield. Up and incomplete. No flag on the play intended for Herndon. Well defended by Tremaine Jacobs. And Everett there as well.
And that's a good play. That's an excellent job by Jacobs. A little bit of hand fighting, sure. You're going to see that all night long. But what did he do? Watch him get his eyes around. He is looking, in fact, at Herndon. And once Herndon turns his head to come back to that reception, Jacobs, well coached, well taught. He turns his head. He rips his hands through. That's good work out there on the island.
2nd and 10. Allen fires a strike complete right back to Hatcher. And he picks up the first down inside the 40-yard line, working against Jacobs again, picked up 15.
How about this offensive line? If we talked about them once, the two true freshmen that are playing at guard, how much has Allen been impacted within that pocket in that play pass? I mean, he's had a brilliant night, but has he gotten touched? I mean, he has had plenty of room, and that offensive line, maybe while not being dominating in the run game, has been really good in their protection.
Still getting over the fact that number 76, their skipper, is all of 6'10". Allen looking for his favorite target, Henry. Almost made a circus grab at the 2. And a flag thrown late. Devontae Harris was back there.
Defense number 1. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That's going to give him a first down.
And Kevin Sumlin didn't like that call, and all I saw was a lot of hand fighting there. I think I agree. I think I agree with Sumlin. They're jostling. He's pushing. They're hand fighting. He turns. You see Harris fighting to turn back to the football. I don't know about that call.
Backs lining up out of the eyes. Small and Collins. Hatcher in motion. It's Collins. And he got 2 yards. 2nd down and 8. Under 2.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. And by all accounts, you'd have to say that Arkansas getting off the turf after a disappointing loss last week, a game in which they straight up just failed to close out against Rutgers. Could have been 4-0 coming into this one. And Mitchell leaving the field to be tended to. Collins on the draw. Got about 2 more. Let's go downstairs to Kaylee.
Mark, we saw Tevin Mitchell take a pretty hard hit earlier in this half. It looks to me like they put him through a concussion test, put him on the bike, and by all means, he can walk just fine, but they just took him into the training facility. I will let you know more as I can find it out, but haven't been able to confirm anything yet.
All right, Kelly, you saw the hit right there that he took a few moments ago.
Biggest play in this game to this juncture. You've got to find a way to stay on the field.
Allen out of the backfield, has his back wide open. Williams stays on his feet, and then some. Touchdown.
That's a grown man, Mark. And that's all I want to. Poor fundamentals defensively. You're reaching, you're throwing shoulders. And Jonathan Williams staying in bounds and saying, you know what? Arm tackles, not good enough on me.
He broke 3 tackles on the way into the end zone. And it looks like they're going to go for 2 here to make it a field goal game. Well, not only did they stay on the field, but they scored a touchdown on that 3rd down. Trying to make it a 3-point game, and it's going to be incomplete. Looked like it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. What about that decision to go for 2 right there with 1:09 to go in the 3rd?
Well, once again, I think you've seen both head coaches. I think that is reflective of what they're witnessing down on the sidelines. And knowing that, what did Texas A&M do on the last drive? Did they throw it once? Did they just out-Bielema you? They just ran it right down your throat. And I think that's a field play. And we've seen it from both sides tonight, whether it's down and distance and going for it, or in that case, maybe chasing a point that by the book is a little bit early.
I just love the fact that you made Bielema a verb. That was pretty good. That was smooth. Bielema. There's a look at the former Iowa linebacker, former head coach at Wisconsin. Had some guys that he's put in the NFL.
And my guess there is trainer, if I'm reading lips, telling the head coach that someone is out. Again, you hate to speculate and justify. We've already seen Mitchell go off the field. And this is, on the other side, a pretty significant injury as Claiborne, a true freshman middle linebacker, making the first start of his Aggie career.
And nice to see him at least be able to walk off the field. Let's take one more look at exactly how it happened. Oh, boy. Now, he went airborne and paid the price for it. But a great run by Williams.
1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you just see a lot of shoulders there, Mark. It's as tremendous an effort as it is by Jonathan Williams. And on 3rd down, I believe that's Steve Jenkins, number 8. I mean, you just cannot throw a shoulder at these big backs. That's not going to be good enough.
It was interesting when we sat down with him yesterday at our meetings. He was talking about the different feel under this present regime, how comfortable they feel with these coaches. He described it and characterized it almost as a friendship. But that friendship turns to a business relationship when kickoff comes. This is Trey Williams, who's about his business on this return out to the 36 as we go back to Wendy.
Mark, thank you. We check on Wisconsin on the road at Ohio State. This game on ABC, 17-7 Buckeyes. Joel Stave, though, to Sam Amison. And here come the Badgers. The score now 17-14 on ESPN. Alabama, Ole Miss, 24-0. 5 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Mark?
All right, Wendy, so that Alabama defense that gave up 42 against Texas A&M pitching a shutout right now against Ole Miss. Hey, Texas A&M folks, they've run the ball on 14 of 15 plays this quarter. Well, number 15 in a row, actually 15 out of 16, wasn't too productive. Phylon making the tackle.
He's going to be a good player. He's coming into his own. A redshirt freshman, had 2 big sacks a week ago. He's a guy in the middle of their defense that has a little wiggle, can get that kind of penetration and tackle for loss. Keep an eye on him as we push to the 4th quarter.
2nd and 13. Manziel underneath, complete. But short of the first down at about the 43-yard line, an 11-yard pickup. Holmes with the grab that time. Eight seconds to go in the period. 3rd and short. And they're not going to get this play off. 15 minutes to play. Texas A&M with a 5-point lead, looking for their 10th straight win on the road when we come back for the 4th. In the rain, under the lights at Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville, Johnny Manziel and Texas A&M offensively looking at a 3rd down and 2. Ben Molina beside him in the backfield. Their lead whittled down to 5 points. Quick 3-step drop, incomplete at the 45, intended for Sabian Holmes. And they'll punt.
Now, I got to take a look at this weather with Johnny. Yeah, that ball's on the money. I was curious, throwing it just 2 times that entire 3rd quarter, but I don't think that that is rain-induced. They get everything they want. They just can't make that connection. 5 of 8 on 3rd down. A top 10 3rd down team coming into this game. And what an enormous stop there for Arkansas.
And Kaiser's punt. Caught on the run at the 16. A 43-yard punt, nothing on the return. Hey, a battle of undefeated teams. Rising star Ryan Tannehill, former of the Aggies, leads the Dolphins into a tough road test against the resurgent Drew Brees and the Saints. Coverage beginning Monday Night Countdown 6:30. Then it's Miami, New Orleans Monday at 8:25 on ESPN. Also on the Watch ESPN app. You
know, I was chatting with a few of the A&M folks and asking them when Tannehill was a redshirt senior quarterback whether there was any thought to use Manziel on the field, and there was. They had a package for him, and then ultimately they decided as that season evolved to redshirt him. But remember, Tannehill was on board and leading this A&M team while Manziel was redshirting.
On 1st and 10, Collins. And brought down for a loss of about 2 yards on the play. Obioha making the stop that time for Texas A&M, the native of New Orleans.
Well, a couple conversations here. I think on the A&M side, Mark Snyder had to challenge his guys to tackle and to wrap and do it consistently. And then you wonder for Arkansas, they have been so good tonight at doing what? Responding. But here's a chance to not respond to an adverse situation, but instead take advantage of your defense getting off the field.
Play fake. And incomplete, way out of bounds. Threw that one away, actually. Intended for Hatcher. It'll be 3rd and long coming up for Arkansas. Pivotal play coming up here. Henry in motion. Collins reversing field. Couple of nice moves, but he's going to be stopped up short of the first down. Nowhere to go, and it's 3 and out.
We talked earlier, Mark, about the correlation between first down success and then ultimately not only success in those downs, but that drive. And that's yet another occasion. There have only been a few of them all evening long as Arkansas has done a tremendous job to keep pace and total offense. But those early downs, when you're looking at a negative play on first down, Well, it's negatively impacted those possessions.
Erwin Hill punting. Labhart staying at his own 31-yard line. From the 37, Labhart making a market of about the 42-yard line. So Texas A&M will have good starting field position after the 5-yard return on the 44-yard punt. Mike Evans, a key cog offensively for Texas A&M on the season. First play of the game, he caught a big long play, made this touchdown catch in the first half, but he has been conspicuous by his silence ever since that catch. And he started limping after he made this touchdown grab, realizing that that right leg had been injured.
It's time to find a way to get him the ball. He's not had a touch in this, their 5th possession since that touchdown.
Carson carries a couple of defenders with him for 3 yards. Trey Carson got to the 45-yard line. Evans is lined up to the top of the screen right there.
That's exactly right. I think you could make an argument, besides Johnny, he's your second most impactful player. Maybe Jake Matthews as well, but been very, very quiet, and surprisingly quiet, as effective as he was early.
Well, let's see how he's moving on this play. Appears to be running all right at the top of the screen, and this is Carson running more than all right. Got the first down. Back to Mike Evans, though. Would you leave him out there to be a decoy, even if he's not at 100%?
Oh, sure you would. I mean, as long as the injury is not going to be an issue, but I don't see him necessarily favoring anything. I mean, it's been a matter that they want to establish the run. There is no doubt about that. But you would think eventually he's got to make a key play for you.
1st and 10, Manziel hands it off. Williams, a couple of sweet moves, gets to the edge. And Williams inside the 15-yard line for the Aggies. Turner finally brought him down, but a 32-yard pickup for Trey Williams.
I mean, you just can't say it enough. An abundance of riches at that running back position. It's the Hammer and Carson. It's the Molina, the trust factor. And then Trey Williams, all he was a second-rated running back coming out of high school 2 years ago in America.
Manziel with the play fake. Dancing out of harm's way. And steps out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. Picked up about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Boy, it's invaluable, Brock, when you have a quarterback that can make something out of nothing. You said it earlier, and maybe a little underrated as a runner. Now Evans favoring that right leg.
Because this is usually go zone in the one-on-one to him.
They run it instead. Carson putting his hat down. And it takes 4 Aggies, Razorbacks to bring him down. Short of the first down, though. Got about 5. 3rd down coming up. Ball in the middle of the field. Texas A&M leading by 5. Even if it's a field goal after this play, it still makes it a 1-possession game. And within reach for Arkansas. That's usually a favorite target of Manziel down here. Instead, they hand it off, and right up the middle, just down short of the end zone, is Trey Williams. Didn't quite get in. Got 5. And it's 1st and goal from less than a yard away. I'll line it up again.
That's a good call. He's just short. And guess what you're going to see? Probably the same play you've seen about 19 times this second half.
Molina and Williams. It's Molina's turn. Touchdown, Texas A&M.
Any young play callers, I think you can learn something from Kevin Sumlin and the business model at Texas A&M. You don't have to be overly complex. You don't have to be creative. If another team cannot stop you and stop that run play, then you run it and you force them to do something differently. That's tremendous patience, and that's a willingness to say, you know what, Johnny Manziel's wonderful. He can have 260 yards of total offense in the first half. You know what, we'll win with him having 30 yards here in the second half.
They have shown themselves to have a pretty prolific ground game, flipping the script on the Hogs in the second half. They lead by 12 when we return. Ben Molina, as the headband says, he's the cash-out king. And he was money in the shadows of the end zone a moment ago. Texas A&M leading 45-33. A couple of 3-1 teams in SEC play, and the Aggies looking for their first conference win.
Can I use my verb again? Maybe turn it around as an adjective and call it Beal a ball?
Okay.
Because that's what A&M's done. 22 of their 25 second half plays have been on the ground.
Arkansas going to get a chance to return this. This is Marshall. And Marshall stopped up short of the 20 at the 17-yard line. Downstairs to Kaylee. What's up?
Mark, the Texas A&M defense will now be on the field without one of their most experienced players in Kirby Ennis, but also true freshman Mike linebacker Darian Claiborne. He's clearly aggravated his right thigh. He's done everything he could to try to stretch it out between running, some high knee lifts. He got on the bike, but yet he's on the bench with it iced up.
Well, we just saw that hit that he took going airborne, Kaylee, and it's no wonder that he's iced up right now. First down and 10. Arkansas last week led by a couple of touchdowns against Rutgers. Now find themselves behind late. This is Williams on the run, got about 6.
Plenty of time. You've got to continue to play to who you are and what your strengths are. It's not time to get into shotgun and throw it all over the field.
Collins on the pitch. Found an alley and got the first down out to the 35-yard line. Brett Bielema already with some good recruits coming in. Collins, one of them. And Randy Shannon also on his staff. And Coach Partridge, they've got some ties, some deep ties in the South Florida area. And they're in on some pretty good recruits right now. The future looking bright in Fayetteville. First down and 10 from the 35-yard line. Hatcher in motion. And that's going to be a flag. That had a little motion up front.
Snap, false start. 6.
That's the first Arkansas penalty, Brock, of the night. Their errors have been limited, but that one that they threw away, the pick 6 at the start of the third quarter, proved to be pretty costly. Down by 12, first and 15. And out to Collins. Boy, great wheels. Collins with a wonderful run into Aggie territory at the 44-yard line. Picked up 26. Remember, he started his career with 3 consecutive 100-yard games.
And what a fit he is. I mean, not just for this night. What a start to his career. Leading the SEC in rushing yards this season. Another 100-yard outing. He's exactly what the doctor ordered for Brett Bielema and what he wants to establish here on the ground.
And a 2 tight end formation, 2 wideouts. Play fake. And downfield, incomplete. Intended for Jeremy Sprinkle. Broken up nicely by Matthews. Back to Wendy in the studio. Well, so much for the Mississippi uprising. Alabama put an end to that. Second down and 10 after the incompletion. Going to throw it again, this time incomplete again. Dropped by Kiero Small. And it's 3rd and 10. Well, time winding down on Brett Bielema and the Razorbacks.
And I think the frustration of quarterback and head coach is Texas A&M is jacking around with that snap count. There's no other way the quarterback and head coach are that fired up at what Texas A&M is doing at the line of scrimmage.
Little blitz coming, and they caught him in a blitz. Great call. Williams still on his feet. First down at the 16-yard line. Williams saying it with his chest.
And what a tremendous call. We saw the screen earlier on the last 3rd down, a little bit more of a traditional screen. And that time, Jones, you've been calling a lot of football games for many years, and you know it. If you hit that blitz right with that screen, you get an opportunity to get a big chunk play. And for about the 9th time tonight, Arkansas responds in adversity.
Big conversion that time. 28-yard gain, 1st and 10. Collins back in the ball game in the offset eye. Into the end zone and harmlessly incomplete. Herndon was the closest guy. And he didn't have a shot at that, bro.
And this protection, I said it earlier, but if anything has stood out to me, Texas A&M has not gotten close to Brandon Allen all night long. And these two true freshmen, that's Skipper 76, Kirkland 55, an A&M group that has definitely sold out in the run game, has really had a hard time getting after Brandon Allen on a career night for him in every way.
Yeah, 17 of 32, 282 yards. Going to pass it again. Incomplete, almost intercepted by Devontae Harris. He had a beat on that one. And 3rd and 10 coming up. Well, that's a nice play. There's what they've done in the red zone tonight. Pretty proficient. Is it 2 down territory here?
I don't think so with 3 timeouts.
Okay. 3rd and 10. Pulls the trigger. And incomplete. Bobbled inside the 5. Or they're going to say that it's caught. No, they're saying it's incomplete.
Clearly, and that's unfortunate. You have everything you want.
The official came in for a spot, it looked like.
And Brandon has not missed many occasions, but unfortunately that was a miss. That was this guy is almost 2 covered, short-armed it. And actually, Mark, to your point earlier, whether this is 4 down territory, and I think a reflection once again of his defense's inability to really take anything away from A&M. Looks like Bielema is going to go for this. No, there's no. That's a no-doubter. That ball is on the ground.
Yeah, that's an easy call.
Timeout, Arkansas.
They're going to call a timeout. Leave them with 1 remaining. And we're going to take a break, too, with just under 7 minutes to go. Decision time for Brett Bielema and the Razorbacks. Back for 4th down. And the review, the official review during the commercial break, said that there was an incompletion on the field, as you saw on the replay, and we all saw.
And confirmed. And now 1 timeout left. You chased that point on the 2-point conversion earlier, Mark. Now you do have to go for this.
4th and 10. They've got to get down to the 6-yard line. Allen throws it incomplete, and the Aggies will take over on downs. Jacobs broke it up, and they really didn't have a chance on that. Everybody covered. And 6:46 to go in the game.
One of the rare occasions that Mark Snyder rushed just 3 defenders. He kept 8 in the coverage, and that's well done. Some of the tackling, some of the fundamentals certainly going to be working on and talked about and walked through with the film, but some of the coverage tonight, especially at the moment of truth, been pretty solid by these DBs.
First down and 10. The clock in their favor. The scoreboard in their favor. Manziel escapes because that's what he does. Manziel tackled at the 21-yard line, picked up about 5 after all that running.
Such an incredible feel of when to retreat, how to retreat, the strength in his lower body to break tackles. That's not by accident. And then the wherewithal here as well. You're an up-tempo team, but you know you got to maximize that game clock as well, especially with just one of these timeouts left now for Arkansas.
2nd and 6. Nice cut by Molina, but he's short of the first down after the 2-yard gain. Can a team that runs the high-tempo offense that Texas A&M runs slow down when they have to and when they need to, like now?
Well, what's your best friend? What do most spread teams not have the capability of doing it? Running it 90% of the time, as Texas A&M has done so and proven they're willing to do here in the second half. And once again, a credit to the guys that never get the credit, and that's those maroon goons up front that have really controlled this second half.
Matthews, Harrison, Matthews, Ifedi, Abui. 3rd and 4. Manziel wide open at the 40-yard line. And he converts to the guy that started it all off. Mike Evans, his first catch since that touchdown reception in the first half.
And you can tell he's not right. That's gutting it out. That's knowing my impact on this field and what I do to a defense, even if the ball is not coming my way. This has been a lot more about guts in the second half than anything else for Mike Evans.
A 23-yard gain, and Evans now 6 receptions for 116 yards on the night.
And just the second completion the entire second half for Johnny Manziel.
Little receiver screen, a great block on the edge for Kennedy. And Kennedy picked up about 6 or 7 yards that time. And that's one thing these Aggie receivers do pretty well, right? They block downfield.
Yeah, they understand that, hey, there's going to be limited touches. We're going to have to share the wealth between running backs, wide receivers. But if you help your buddy out when your number is called, it's advantage the entire offense.
Well, quarterback Johnny Manziel hasn't been on Twitter, hasn't tweeted since August 1st. Been a long time. He's letting his game do his talking right now. 2nd down and 4. And that was Williams, about 2 yards shy of the first down.
And you know what tonight shows to me more than anything, Mark? Over the course of a season in this SEC conference, you're going to have to play some different styles. The game is going to go in some different directions. A&M's fortunate this year to have 8 at Kyle Field. Outside of tonight, look at the schedule. You're going to go to Ole Miss next week. They got the beat down by Alabama. And you're going to be heavy favorites over Auburn, Vanderbilt, Utah, UTEP, and Mississippi State. And then it's on the road to finish the season. You talk about a one-loss team that's put themselves in a tremendous position. And only 3 games on the road the rest of the year.
3rd and 1. Molina going to be stopped up short. And that brings up a 4th down.
And you see Bielema sprinting on the field, the former D tackle, to call that timeout.
That's going to be their last one.
Out of the half.
So with 3:03 to go, Arkansas will get the ball back. Down by 12 points. Back after this. Herndon is standing at his own 10-yard line. Drew Kaiser rolling out, gets off a high punt. Good catch at the 12. It'll be 1st and 10 from there with just under 3 minutes to go. What's the strategy now, Brock, for Arkansas?
Well, you've got no timeout. So I said earlier, you don't have to change what you're doing. Now you do. But I got to be honest with you, Mark. I was a little surprised A&M punted that ball.
Why?
Have you seen Arkansas really stop their run in the second half?
No. No, not a bunch.
And I understand this. This is the right play and the conservative play. And you make Brandon Allen and this offense drive 90 yards. They've got no timeouts. So I'm not saying it was the wrong call. But as effective as they've been running the football the entire second half, to put your defense back on the field, we're curious.
Down the middle, picked off. That might do it.
There you go.
Intercepted at the 45-yard line. And that might be the final nail for Brandon Allen. Sanders with the interception.
And that was clearly a force. That's trying to get everything back all at once and throw to a covered guy. He's got safety help over the top and the coverage underneath as well. That's one I think in time that the sophomore quarterback is going to learn. Hey, you played a great game, a career high in yards and attempts and touchdowns, but that's one with 2 minutes and 45 seconds. You don't have to take that kind of risk in that moment.
The 45, the pass complete to Holmes. Savion Holmes getting to the edge, pushed out of bounds, gains about 8 on the play. Texas A&M looking to improve to 4-1 on the season and move to an even 1-1 in SEC play. Their only loss this season, of course, that one at home against Alabama. Brock, it's a team that, in a game that was built up for so long, could have had a letdown in wake of that defeat, but they've come back pretty well, and they'll run it again here. That was Carson. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they're too good offensively. And you've got too many pros. You know, I mean, you look at this group offensively. You've got 3 pros on your offensive line. You've got some running backs that'll get a look. Johnny obviously is a next level player. Just who and where and how he fits will be a great conversation. Mike Evans is a guy that's going to play at the next level. They love Cameron Clear. We haven't even talked about their tight end. Yeah, what they did a season ago, the foundation they built, the belief that you can play with the big boys in the SEC, and the fact that they were right there on the cusp with Alabama and put 42 points on the board. Yeah, I think all confidence builders, a big reason why there has been no letdown since.
3rd down and 4. They're going to run it. 2 hands on the ball, but no first down for Trey Carson. But Arkansas with no timeouts remaining, and the clock's going to run down here. Arkansas, meanwhile, going to call to 3-2.
And a brutal gauntlet coming up for Brett Bielema. At Florida, South Carolina, at Alabama.
Nobody said it was easy in this league, right?
No, that's a 4-game stretch, as brutal as anybody's going to face all season. I know Tennessee's got a tough schedule. It's difficult for Ole Miss as well. So many of these teams in the SEC, but going down to the Swamp, going down to Tuscaloosa, and the Crimson Tide sure look like tonight they may have played their most complete game, especially defensively.
After giving up 42 against Texas A&M. Johnny Manziel looking at 4th and 3 now.
Pretty remarkable second half, wasn't it?
The way it changed.
Well, as electric as Johnny was, and we'll hear post-game whether maybe it was some of the rain, maybe it was the injury to Mike Evans. Maybe it was the fact that offensive line walked in at halftime and said, you know what? We can wear these guys out. Give us the opportunity to establish the game there. And I think for Kevin Sumlin as well, who manages the whole picture. It's not just about the offense. As you said, a former linebacker, realizing that his defense was having its challenges with Arkansas and really flipped the script, in your words, Mark. And that balance went out the window, and they played big boy football at the line of scrimmage.
It's a team that has faced a lot of adversity. Just 5 games into the season now. They had the suspensions to deal with in the first couple of games. And of course, the first half suspension of the first game of the starting quarterback, Manziel, who completes this pass. Manziel to Walker again, and 46 seconds to go, and first down.
And after a first half, the Manziel was on pace to have another 500-yard night of total offense. All he did in the second half was put up about 60 yards of total offense. But I like that. As I said earlier, when you play in this conference, you're going to have to win games in a variety of different ways. And the fact that you could come into someone else's house in a big physical defensive line and own them at the point of attack, the way the Aggies did in the second half, that's going to help them over the long term.
The Maroon Goons putting their imprint indelibly on the second half, and Kevin Sumlin's Texas A&M crew roll in here and win their 10th consecutive road game. This is a team that makes themselves comfortable away from the comfy environs of Kyle Field. Texas A&M wins it. Up next, college football scoreboard, followed by USC, Arizona State. For Kaylee Hartung, Brock Hewitt, I'm Mark Jones saying good night from Fayetteville, Arkansas.